The Buffalo Bills remain undefeated and have once again squished the fish. And the Sabres have announced their training camp roster. All of this and more on this edition of the Buffalonian podcast. All right, let's go. We are back with the Buffalonian podcast. I'm Joe Callie. As always, I'm joined by none other than Dom Loss. And Dom, we're sitting here. End of the week. The Bills remain undefeated. They've squished the fish. Beginning of a new week. How are you feeling? I mean, I know you picked the Bills to lose last week. So how are you recovering from that?
Well, yeah, thanks for bringing that one up, Joe. Yeah, not great, Bob. But listen, I feel like one of these days, the next time I pick the Bills game wrong by picking the opposite team, I'm definitely gonna have to look back at the pod and see my record of picking against the Bills because I don't know if I won a game.
I think you got one. I think you have one Chiefs, or you have the Bengals game. You picked the Bengals to win the divisional that year that they killed.
I don't know. I think I didn't because I thought the Bengals offensive line being banged up that year was going to cost them. But yeah, I've
got to look at the tape. New York's not buzzing in here. We got to look at the tape.
There's just an important lesson learned, from all sides of just as I unquote a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. You know what that is the definition of?
Respect?
Yes.
Yes.
The Bills taught the Dolphins the definition of respect.
They did.
Lesson learned. You still can't beat them yet in a big spot. The only thing they have is that 21-19 was the final that 1 year in week 3?
Week 3, yeah. It was after they trounced the Titans. And we were all at that game, including the producer. We were cooking there.
Yeah, so
that was a deflating one.
Before you get into Joe highlights, I just gotta say one other thing too. First thoughts and prayers of Tua because that was pretty unfortunate. I think they placed him on IR today, and apparently he's thinking of still playing. So, that's his decision to make. But that's not really the real thing. That popped in my head. But the other thing I just say is the Amazon Prime. They did how right before kickoff they do clips of people the players in the media talking about the game or whatever.
Yeah,
and I just had to say, Alec Ingold, the fullback for the Dolphins, goes, "Yeah, we hate them, they hate us," and I was like, "Dude, you want to talk you're
right?
That's cringe. I'm sorry, that's a cringy line to say for a team that gets absolutely pummeled every time you play."
Yeah, it's not like it's a back and forth contest at all. It's a one-sided contest between the two teams.
Like the Bengals and Chiefs. If one of those people said that would actually have some meaning because they probably both hate each other.
Bills and Chiefs. I mean, they really don't hate each other.
I don't know. They're a weird. They're like respect rivalry.
It is. They teach each other the definition of respect at different times. So they respect
the Chiefs mostly in January, but
Yeah. Who's counting the month of the year? I don't know. But listen, they move on. They're undefeated. Will they stay that way? The kryptonite in the Jacksonville Jaguars is coming up. We'll talk about that coming up on Friday.
I do have to say before we talk, I know, but last year, coming off a big game against the Dolphins, who did we play?
Ooh, will history repeat itself?
2 years in a row?
You never know.
I don't know, but that's for different. That's for Friday.
It is.
Today's Tuesday.
For Friday, betting on the Bills will be back to its normal, regularly scheduled program.
Broadcast.
No primetime game. To worry. Well, it is a primetime game, but we don't have to worry about a Thursday nighter condensing the schedule. But as Dom mentioned,
I do have one more thing to say. I apologize.
I know, absolutely. Go ahead.
Josh Allen defeated still on Thursdays.
7-0 on Thursday Night Football.
I'll give you a trivia question. I gave my dad this trivia question. I saw it on Twitter and I thought it looked good. I can't remember who said it.
All right.
Josh Allen has lost 3 games that were not on Monday or Sunday in the NFL. Can you name the 3 games he's lost?
That weird Titans game from COVID rescheduling. What was that, a Wednesday or something like that? Tuesday.
There's two other ones.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm blanking on the other two already. I don't want to take up dead air time.
One, I'll give you a hint. One's a playoff game and one's a regular season game.
The playoff game, where it wasn't on a.
It was not on a Sunday or Monday.
Not on a Sunday or Monday. Is there a Saturday playoff game? Warmer. Okay. Listen. The only Saturday playoff game I recall is the Steelers one where they killed them last season. I don't know why I'm blanking on the others.
That was Monday,
or Monday when they pushed it back.
You call Uncle?
I'm calling Uncle.
So they lost the 2019 divisional round in the 2019 wild card round to Houston.
The Texans, because Deshaun Watson, Stephen Hauschka tied that game, sent it to overtime.
And in the same year, they lost the 2019, I think it was week 16, to New England, the Deion Dawkins touchdown game.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Yeah.
The last time Josh Allen and Tom Brady played each other in New England Buffalo, obviously they played again when he was in Tampa. But
yeah. Oh, my God. You're totally right.
Yep.
Yeah. So far back now, thinking about it, I mean.
Sorry, I've cut you off like 3 times with but
No, you're totally fine. And, I got you with not picking the Bills to win. You got me with throwing me on the spot.
I know, and you were in the same shirt you did last week.
Listen. There's been over a week between shows. All right, I've done laundry. I can attest to that. Not reeking at all by any means. Coming at me over there. All right. Without further ado, it's time to roll into the MVPs, the most valuable plays from the weekend. We've got a double header for you here. We got James Cook's hat trick performance and the defensive route. So it's time for Joe's MVPs. Now, we're going to take a look here. Again, James Cook, we're starting off with. Allen's got some pressure. James Cook on a man beater goes to the left and runs past that Miami secondary. It almost looked like he wanted to flip there. Did you see him plant the 2 feet? He was like itching for it. Anyway, that gets the first points on the board of the game for the Bills and just in general. And they get down to the 1 yard line here. Thought James Cook was hurt earlier in this drive. He runs right up the middle, gets in for the second time. Fantasy managers are already on their feet if they had James Cook on their squad. Wait till they see this coming one. It's pretty outrageous. I mean, Jordan Poyer gets cooked. Let's just be honest here. James Cook from the 49-yard line basically just runs the entire length of the field right through the Miami secondary. The problem with Jordan Poyer, he's a little slower than he used to be. We saw that in Buffalo last year, and there's that flip. There is that flip. He gets into the end zone, and, you can't help but just be ecstatic. Now we look at the defense here. Tua immediately sees pressure on one of the first drives of the game, and boom, there it is. A tip from Christian Benford into UB graduate Jamarcus Ingram's hands, and no, that is not the last time you're going to hear about Jamarcus Ingram. I mean, you can't complain. He's put back-to-back performances together where he's been more than serviceable, especially in this game. Let's take a look. Tua takes the snap here in the end of the first quarter, that is, and just basically airs it out to Christian Benford, right to him. No need to tip that one anywhere. And, Tua saw some pressure, if you will, and, got a little scared in the pocket. And this one is no better because, the pressure actually gets to him here. Ride 'em Cowboy, Ed Oliver, and 4th and 2 in the second quarter. Holds them big time there. 17-7 is the score. And here, I mean, this interception's crazy. He's under pressure. He's going to get sacked. Tua throws it away, maybe. Nope. Jamarcus Ingram catches this one, takes it to the house. Greg Russo running with him, pointing to the stands. I mean, what a day for the UB graduate Jamarcus Ingram. You can't complain. Tua does, as Dom mentioned, unfortunately come down with that head injury after he led with his head. Skylar Thompson is in the game. And Von Miller, he gets that pressure on him. Back in the sack column again. And that's going to do it for Joe's MVPs. But, oh, my God, what a performance. Josh Allen didn't even do that much. Had to let the music fade out there. That was, like, perfect timing. There we go. Yeah, producer. There we go. This game, it was Josh Allen's worst performance in one of those Thursday night wins. But they won by an insane amount of points. Yeah. And that was before the Tua injury. That game was put to bed. Tyler Bass did miss a kick.
A bad miss.
Bad miss on a meaningless kick, thank God. But still.
Missed it bad.
That was not good. Did I consider maybe throwing that in at the tail end as a little dig? Maybe, but I did not.
It was very similar to the Steelers game in the playoffs when the Bills were up 2 touchdowns and they were trying to just like kick a field goal with like 2 minutes left to go with 3 possessions, and it was like 20 yards and he just shanked it to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
Not good.
Brutal. I mean, he made one when it really mattered, the 43-yarder to go up 10-7, which I thought he was going to miss as well. So,
I mean, he did put, like you said, he put some kicks together, but those highlights, I mean, they really speak to the true defensive nature of the game. I mean, James Cook was really the offensive production. Khalil Shakir, by the way, was also part of that. He had some good catches.
Shakir had a nice day. I thought Kincaid got involved a little bit. Maybe not
more
downfield, but line scrimmage. It was. I think it's hard to really take a lot of takeaways from the Bills' offense just because the game script was just so weird.
Yeah.
Especially with the turnovers from Miami, and then Miami having the ball a lot, but then making mistakes. Like it was a weird game to kind of talk about. But are you ready for?
I'm ready. We talked about it before the show started rolling here. Waiting all day for the Dom 5 might be here sooner than you think with AI nowadays, so you might have to wait on that one. But go ahead, take it away.
I hear you. The Dom 5 with my bubbly smile. Number 1.
Your LinkedIn profile picture?
Yeah. Thank you. James loves home cooking. Obviously, James Cook is from the Florida, I think Miami area. Man had 3 tutties.
Yeah.
One through the air, 2 on the ground. Had 7.7 yards per carry. It was a very good day for James Cook. Obviously, the man beater, as you alluded to in the highlights. Great play call by Joe Brady, and then again got the goal line touches. We saw the speed. I thought he made had some other good runs throughout the game. Yeah, a big day from James Cook, and that's kind of what we need him to do is be that receiving back, be kind of that guy that can make people miss and make some explosive runs, and then you have Ray Davis more as the power back. I think, again, as we're going to go further and further into the season, I think having a guy like James Cook being that all-around back, having him grow into that is going to be vital for this offense.
Yes, the clear finesse back with still that goal line ability, right? What was Ken Dorsey doing with him? Shoving him up the middle every play. That was going to get you really far. That's all I got to say. But, I said everything I needed to say in the highlight reel. James Cook, as Chris Brown loves to say, the cook has found the kitchen, and he consistently does so now, especially in this past game. So can't complain at all about his performance. After you.
Number 2, McDermott, best defensive mind. Maybe he's the best defensive mind in the game right now because Belichick, I don't know, he didn't retire, he resigned, I should say, but
couldn't find a job.
Belichick, Vic Fangio looked pretty bad on Monday night. I think there's a case to be made that I know Bobby Babbitt is calling the plays, but I think there's a very good case to be made that Sean McDermott is currently the best defensive mind going in the game. I know Mike McDonald in Seattle might have a little bit of a claim for what last year he did with the Ravens. I'm trying to think. I had a good name off the time. Oh, Brian Flores, because he's been very impressive so far with his scheme with the Vikings, and he had some good years with the being the Pats DC and the Dolphins the coach as well. So I think he's kind of in the mix as well. But I think I don't know. I think McDermott has a real claim. I mean, he's consistently. No, other than Andy Reid in the playoffs, leave that black hole. Any argument? Mike McDaniel, is one of the best offensive minds in the game, and consistently we've seen Sean McDermott just take him and eat his lunch and take his lunch money. So
he knows what to do. I mean, and look at again UB graduates. Jamarcus Ingram, nothing against his talent coming from UB. I think there is talent that comes from UB.
Khalil Mack,
right? Khalil Mack. Even Buffalo Joe. He made the team, right? Like they put things together. I just think he's got a way with these defensive backs where Cam Lewis steps in for Taron Johnson, one of the best slot corners in the game, right? Still makes plays, right? Still breaks up pass. I mean, he does. Cam Lewis does get burned. I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't. But McDermott knows how to make do with what he has, I think, better than most defensive minds in the NFL.
It's just insane. It's really just insane to think about. Like, last year, I know the defense was kind of up and down, but, like, when they lost Daquan Jones, the injury to Matt Milano, Poyer and Hyde missed time. Like, it was kind of a weird year. And then this year, like, you're without your 2 starting linebackers now. Bernard gets injured in this game with the Pack. Obviously, Milano was already injured. So you're playing Dorian Williams and Balen Spector, who have very limited time, really trying to be impact players. And you're starting 2 new safeties, and Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin. I know Hamlin's third, but and then you have Cam Lewis coming for Taron Johnson. You're playing Jamarcus Ingram as that other DB when you take a linebacker out the field. I mean, you just can't not be just absolutely impressed with what he's been able to do with such kind of little I'm not gonna say talent because I still think these
More
players are
raw talent than like refined talent.
Raw talent, maybe not the biggest names, and he just continues to put up good defenses.
Yeah.
Hopefully that continues.
Yes.
But on to number 3, a big part of that defense.
He's back. He's back.
Von Miller is back. I know it's only 2 games, but he's been consistently able to win. He dominated Austin Jackson on last Thursday, I should say. Obviously had the big sack on Skylar Thompson on the 4th down. Had another really nice spin move. But Tua was able to fortunately get that one away to Waddle on that one play. But that was a sick spin move.
It was.
He's looked good, and they're going to need him to continue to be the kind of one of those guys because they don't have Leonard Floyd this year. They need kind of that production from Von, and so far he's given it to them.
Yeah, it's exciting to see Von Miller back. Right when the Bills signed him initially, you're like, oh my God. Hall of Famer, edge rusher, right? The guy from the Broncos who basically won that Peyton Manning Super Bowl all those years ago because Peyton Manning and that offense were not the elite part of that team. But you're starting to see that back, and you see it in the stats, too. They mention, like, that's one thing you hear the broadcast mentioning, these talking head talk shows mention. He's back in the pressure ratings of pre-ACL injury and even surpassing it in some cases. So if he can keep consistent, he took that pay cut. He's incentive based. I think he's got a lot of will to do it. I think that's good.
A little bit of a drop, but
yeah,
if he could just be what he kind of was, if he could be 2022 first half Von Miller, I think they'll take that. So
yeah, even with the Rams, Von Miller, like that was huge. He was a big difference maker on that team.
Going to number 4, Brady is a beautiful poet. Just a beautiful call on 4th down. Runs a man beater, gets exactly what they want. I think he's done a very good job scheming up this run game. Obviously, you saw it with the big James Cook run, using the extra offensive lineman with Alec Anderson. I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a good job, giving touches to Dalton Kincaid at the line of scrimmage and letting him do what he does best, which is we saw that. Like, he probably, he caught 4 passes. Those 4 passes probably were all at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard, yard behind. But then he gets 30 yards because he's good with the ball in his hands. Yak. We're seeing that Yak in this offense being able to be effective, being efficient yards. And again, it's hard to kind of talk too much about like the passing attack this game because they only threw for 140 yards.
Right.
It was just kind of a weird game. It felt like the offense was just kind of there at times because it was like, all right, just run the ball and just take time off as much time as possible. We don't need to worry about incompletions, but I'm excited for maybe a more, I should say competitive game, but more pass-heavy game script that might happen. And again, my one complaint is maybe slightly too much running on 1st down, but they've been effective. And then I guess another one would also be I like to see Dalton Kincaid down the field.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love the touches that they're giving him now. I love the touches they were able to manufacture for him on Thursday. I would just like that plus a little bit more down the field, and I'm golden.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'd love to see Kincaid get more involved, especially you. I mean, don't you have him in fantasy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you got the fantasy manager perspective going too. But I mean, I would love to see that. Truthfully, Joe Brady, like you said, I think the poet's the right way to put it. My one complaint's the same as yours, and it's minimal, if that. Even if it is a complaint, the running on 1st down. But I can't wait to see a more pass-heavy script. He adapts, right? You saw that motion on that man beater. Like, that's huge. That's what allowed that play to happen. You helped Josh Allen identify what was going on the defense extremely clear. And I love to see more of that, and I love where the mindset is when he's, again, running. He's coordinator A running playbook A, not coordinator A running playbook B like last season. So,
And the last one, only 5 today, not 6. The defensive injuries can stop now.
Yeah.
We're
lucky with this guy. If you're watching on video on the screen, we're lucky it's not a
torn pec,
long-term injury. Yeah,
it's probably a month.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, it's. I guess it's good news so far that they haven't put him on IR. Terrell Bernard in IR. I don't think they're going to put Taron Johnson in IR. It doesn't seem like they will. So we kind of avoid, again, kind of worst case scenarios of both those injuries. But yeah, they can stop now because it's getting a little annoying. I'm starting to not be super comfortable.
No,
Balin Spector on the field. I thought he did fine. I mean, he made some mistakes. Same thing with Jordan Williams. They're going to make some mistakes, and that's fine. But I just, especially with their schedule, the Jags. I haven't looked great, and we'll talk about that. But
You're getting into the thick of it.
They're
at this
going
point.
to Baltimore. They're going to Houston. They're going to New York in a 3-week span coming up here, and I just think being down both your Bernard and Johnson is going to be really annoying. But so far so good. Kind of with how they've been able to adapt from those injuries. I just hope that they're able to continue to do that. But
yeah,
that is the Dom 5 for week 2.
Yeah, week 2. Only a few more. We still got a chunk of the season to go, though.
True. I mean, hopefully there's hopefully 15 plus
playoffs.
Plus playoffs, hopefully hopefully we go undefeated in 20-0, so 18 more.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah. Again, even with the highlights, it's been so easy the past 2 weeks to really pull things and put things together. And again, like I said last week, I'm dreading the day where they have that Billsy loss where I'm just like distraught looking for anything, and I don't know. Hopefully it's not Jacksonville. We'll talk about that on Friday. That's a doubleheader Monday night, right? Yeah, we saw that last night. We watched Monday Night Football.
Trying to think what's the best. I'm blanking a little bit on what the best start in the Josh Allen era is. I think it's 4-0. Yeah, it is 4-0.
The COVID season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that is it. I mean, last year was 0-1 to start. 22 it was 2-0 because we lost the Dolphins, so 2-1.
Couple of years.
21 we lost the home opener. We were there for that one.
The Steelers.
COVID 4-0, and then we lost that weird game to the Titans. And then 19, I think they were 3-0 and lost the Patriots. If I'm not mistaken.
It's just crazy to me to think Josh Allen. This is his 7th season here. Like, that's outrageous to me. The fact that we're that much older. I remember when he got drafted. Like, oh, that's awesome. And then here we are.
I know. It is kind of wild to think.
He's going to be 30 in 2 years.
Do you have any other takes to kind of have about this game, or?
I mean, honestly, I think the book's been written. It's right in front of everyone's face. The Dom 5 was phenomenally put together this week. But no, I think overall your defense really showed out, did what they needed to do. Your offense was able to take their foot off the gas a little bit because the defense said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to take the wheel here for a minute." I just realized that what I just said.
Yeah.
Do not drink and drive. let's not do that. Let's not do that. But
not the best.
Not the best combination of analogies, if you will. But the defense had their hand on the wheel and just went for it. And players going to play. They made plays, and that's the best way to put it. Besides Tyler Bass missing, very minimal complaints for me.
No, I think a big thing too is that he did drop a snap in shotgun was the Josh Allen hand. So
he did.
I think he only ran. I'll double check here before. I think he only ran 2 times for 2 yards. So for him to kind of play this game without having to kind of be. I mean, he made some great plays. I mean,
the cape was still hanging up in the closet.
The throw to Shakir, the throw to Ty Johnson on the sideline, but like he didn't have to hurdle a guy. He didn't have to run over a guy. I think that was big. I don't think he got really hit all that often too. Good pass protection. So I think that was really the most important thing. Obviously, the injuries are unfortunate and the Bass miss, but it's important. I think it was important that Josh kind of got out of there unscathed with the left hand, and now going to Monday, we're still nearly a week away. So he has like a week, 11 days from Thursday to kind of rest that up. So
yeah, it was weird seeing him with a glove on the left hand though. Very Tom Brady like that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, very strange. But before we talk about the Sabres, I have 2 things to bring up about the Bills.
Okay.
Kind of weren't really Dolphins, but in the game. Really.
In general, I gotcha.
In general. First is, what are your thoughts on the Bills bringing in Anders Carlson and Cade York in today, the kickers, to kind of just work out? I mean, you did just say.
I did just say Tyler Bass was a complaint. I mean, we've also. I mean, that was one of the first things we both said right out of the gate. So I think they might be, putting a little mail in the mailbox, if you will, on
a little motivation.
A little motivation, like, hey, we're trying these guys out here. You missed it in a good moment, right? That's a good moment to miss a kick.
It's never a good moment to miss a kick.
Never a good moment to miss a kick, but
ideal
score-wise, that's where you want to miss a kick. If it was 31-31 and he missed that, City of Buffalo is just burning down. I can tell you that right now, if that happens. So I think they're kind of sending him a little bit of a message. Maybe they do get a backup. I don't know what they do with it. I don't think so, but
I think it's interesting. I think they're going to sign someone to the practice squad. If he has another. I think right now what the Bills just told him is you're on strike one.
Mm-hmm.
you're on strike one. We didn't give you a strike for the Kansas City miss and the poor start.
Right.
We trusted you. Obviously, I think the cap has something to do with it. But now this miss is strike one.
Do you
And
think
then-
it's a mental block on
Yes.
his end?
And then I think if it happens again, another bad miss, I think strike two is assign someone to the practice squad. That's strike two. And then if it happens a third time,
He's gone.
He's gone. And I think that's and I think you can make an argument honestly that he should be on strike two already because of the bad camp and the playoff miss. I think you can make a case that should have been strike one, and then this miss is strike two, and they should hypothetically, after working out these kickers, sign one on the practice squad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's it. I just think that maybe that's their mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess Lee, but I'm sorry. It is 100% a mental block.
Yeah. The mental, is it his confidence is shot. Yeah.
It's Bryce Young.
Oh God. I just feel sad watching Bryce Young play
But my
football.
thing of Bass too is like we saw it on Sunday Night Football. Like there was 5 field goals made from 50+ yards. Like
Yeah.
I just don't think Bass for who he was drafted for having a big leg. Like for some reason
I wouldn't
is
trust him.
never a good
Yeah.
long range kicker, and always seems like he's kicking short from 55+. You'd think he'd be able to kick from 60, but again, I just think that's a disadvantage. But again, also the two guys that they worked out today aren't great kickers either. Like they have pretty bad spots on their resumes, and that's kind of just what's going to happen. And I think you're going to see the Bills draft a kicker in 25. But my last thing, before we talk briefly about the Sabres for the first time forever,
Yeah, Sabres talk. I'm excited. Training camp, singing "Frozen" on the Buffalonian. I mean, this is wild.
I actually forgot that was from Frozen. But what are your thoughts on the poster? Josh Allen.
Oh, love that.
Gatorade. I think it's sick. But they're trying to take it down now.
Why? Why are they taking?
They didn't have a permit or whatever.
Are you kidding me?
So they have an October meeting or whatever with the zoning commission
That's outrageous.
I don't think they're going to be able to because I think, as you said earlier about Abasmus, I think the city of Buffalo would be
burned down.
pretty upset.
Have you ever watched Bruce Almighty?
No.
So quick, brief synopsis on the pod, real quick, three.
You mentioned he's got it, isn't he?
He gets, because he wanted to play God, he gets the chance to, right? And he's a newsman for Channel 7. In Buffalo, it takes place. That's why it's phenomenal. Jim Carrey. He answers a prayer for the Sabres to win the Stanley Cup. One of the final acts, Act 3 of the movie, the big finish, where he's realizing his mistakes. The city of Buffalo is actually tearing itself apart because the Sabres won the Stanley Cup. So, would I tear the city apart if the Sabres won the Stanley Cup? I don't know.
Hypothetically,
I would go.
I would go to the parade.
I'd go to parade. I don't think I'd be ripping signs down from the roads and stuff like that. Yeah, and burning buildings down.
Police having to grease the poles so no one climbs on them.
Yeah, I seriously think though, the poster, if that gets taken down, there's going to be a
sick.
problem. I love it. I really do. We haven't. I feel like that needs to be in the city where the guy actually plays. I don't see why there would be an issue with that. Is it what building is it on? I don't know the specifics of it. Do we know?
I'm blanking on what it's called. You could just say it.
The Statler. Oh, the Statler building. Okay. Went to a prom in there all those years ago. Do they have a problem with it? Is that what's going on? They don't want it to be permanent. Well, I tell you what. They take that down. I guarantee you 85 people who paint these murals around the city of Buffalo are about to make it permanent. I'm telling you right now, that'll happen. So we'll see. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big Josh guy, so
I think we all are. How could you not be? But I got to get the Sabre dance on this on the audio here to transition the Sabres talk for the first time. And people would probably think we're all Bills all the time pod.
We were getting that reputation.
I mean, we're going to talk about the team that's actually making consistent playoff appearances more than the one who's not.
True. I have one thing to talk about before we talk about training camp.
Okay. Sabres related?
It is Sabres related.
Okay, so the transition worked. Okay, we're Sabres related. What do you got?
So I went to...
He's got the paper.
I went to the Sabres... My dad is going to be so happy I'm bringing this up. Went to the Sabres Penguins prospects game.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting kind of event. They kind of host it every year. A bunch of teams go. So they played the Penguins, saw them. They got crushed. I think it was 8-5.
Okay.
Not great, Bob,
He
but
scored 5 points.
but 5 goals. Come on, Joe. We've been doing the pod long enough to know
5
that
goals.
Come on, you silly boy. No, it's been a while. So.
I mean,
Back where I was.
all right.
Kulik scored twice. Nuchev scored twice. Wahlberg scored as well. So I think the forwards, you just saw the depth of talent they have at the forwards. I think that was the big takeaway for me. I mean, the goaltending's whatever. I mean, it sucked, which is kind of unfortunate. I didn't think the defense was kind of weird too, but yeah, just the depth they have still at forward, even trading Savoy, having Kulik, Rozan, Hellenius, Wahlberg, Ostlin all together was just insane. Nuchev looked really good too. He's probably gonna be in the AHL. My dad would want me to make this point. Tyler Tullio, the player that they traded with Ryan McLeod when they traded away Matt Savoy, he sucked.
Yeah,
he was terrible. I heard somewhat good things about him before this game. So they played 3 games and this was the 3rd game, but he was he was horrendous. So but back where we now going to the training camp. Obviously they had the roster. I'm not going to go through all the roster because that just took too long. Oh, also, again, side note, because I'm forgetful, Payne Krebs signed.
did
2 years, 1.45. Definitely a little definitely a little bit more money than I thought. I thought he was going to only pay $875,000 or whatever they thought we were haggling over, and
yeah.
a little surprised they gave him 2 years just because
He really hasn't done anything phenomenal here. Yeah,
so
me
good
too.
for him to get the extra year and a couple extra. I don't really have anything else to say other than.
I mean, you don't know though. New coach, maybe they see something. I don't know.
I just don't see where he fits in. But
Believe me, I don't. I'm just trying to see the silver lining to this deal right now. I like I said, for a guy who hasn't really done anything spectacular, I was kind of surprised to see 2 years.
So, do you have any bold takes, training camp takes? I think one of them last year was Zach Benson making the roster. So, do you have any one of those kind of? Because I have a couple.
I'm looking right now.
I have a couple.
Okay. I guess let me answer your question with a question.
Oh, dang.
Because out of the two of us, you have more knowledge of the prospects and things along those lines.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If there was a mortal lock in your mind of someone not making it, or a group of 3 people not making it, who are your 3, they'll never see the ice?
Well, it's hard for me to say that because I think there's a lot of people on this route. There's 32 forwards, so it's very easy for me to pick, Riley Fiddler Schultz or whatever. But to make it a little more interesting, I'll say this: I think on the roster, I think Dennis Gilbert.
Okay.
I shouldn't say locks. I'll rephrase your sentiments to 3 people that I think people may think may make the roster, which I don't think will.
Okay.
I think Dennis Gilbert's definitely one. I think Rozan's definitely one. Ostlin, Hellenius. I know a lot of people are talking about him being.
Yeah, Consta's probably not ready.
Defense wise, I said Gilbert, so I feel pretty comfortable with that one. Goaltending, I think Devin Leo is going to win the backup job. I think they're going to waive James Reimer after Prague. So I guess that's one as well. So I think those are my answers. But I do have a bold take.
All right.
I think, talking about the forwards, I think they're going to trade Jordan Greenway.
You think so?
Because I don't see the fit on the roster anymore. And they've brought in a bunch of guys that just do his job at a better rate that's fast, has
speedier.
Speed.
Yeah.
And I just don't see the fit with that, with how they've went this offseason. I just think he's a weird fit. I think Yuri Kulik is going to make the roster. He scored 2 goals. Saw him score 2 goals. I just think he looks good. I know he has some limitations, but I think he's kind of a high upside guy that I think, especially because they're going to be playing in Prague in the Czech. And he's from Czechia. I think that also gives him kind of a little bit of an inside edge. And lastly, I'm going to say this right now. I think Anton Wahlberg.
You're an Anton Wahlberg fan?
I don't think he's going to make the roster. But I think he is a complete X factor.
Okay.
I think he's going to get more playing time in Buffalo this year than anyone not named Kulik.
Okay.
More than Nuchev, more than Rozan. I can't remember what Awesome's doing off the top of my head, but I think that's the case. And I think Ryan Johnson, has a better chance than I think originally I thought maybe of making the roster and pushing Bryson off the roster bubble and into the AHL, and obviously already had Levi, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to your Greenway point, I think I think that's a possibility for sure because
it's not likely because I just don't.
Well, because they're big, this guy's been in the system, that kind of thing, right? They're going to keep him around.
That's why it's called a bold take.
Yes, but I see your reasoning for said bold take because all we talked about, the last time we talked about the Sabres, whether it be like, 3 months ago now? Probably around there when the draft happened. So 2 months ago. We'll just say that. They went speedy. And one of the comments that we made all last season about Jordan Greenway, as cool as his stiff arm goals were, and like he's big and powerful, don't get me wrong, he, like you said, does not fit the brand of this Sabres team going forward. And Lindy Ruff is known, like if this team really does go that direction, he's going to be a fast attack kind of coach. So Jordan Greenway, I can see where you're going with there, but I also agree in the fact that they're big on, he's been in the system kind of mentality. They're going to keep him around. But listen, in agreement with that for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting month as we kind of get closer and closer to the season.
Mm-hmm. Preseason starts Monday the 23rd, the same night, right? Or is it earlier than that?
I think it's the 22nd. I think it's...
They play the same day as the Bills at 5 p.m. So maybe they play the day before, though.
No, I'm wrong. It's 23rd.
So...
Oh, wait. No, wait. Now you got me looking at
it. Either the 26th...
now I'm confused because I thought they didn't play the same day as the Bills did, but now...
I think they backed it up, as far as I knew. Maybe they made
it the 21st and the 23rd. You're right.
Yes. So they backed that game up to a 5 p.m. game.
So they play the 21st coming up in 4 days. So
yeah. So they're coming around quick. So
we'll make our they have till the end of the month until their preseason's over. I think.
You want to hold on predictions then?
Let's hold on predictions.
Let's see maybe what they look like in the preseason, and then we might have something to go off of. But I take the preseason pledge with the Sabres.
Yeah, they start October 4th. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah. The whole Prague thing is screwing up my mind.
Wait, they start October 4th? They're early in the day, I would assume, in Prague?
1 p.m. and then 10 a.m. on the next day following.
Okay, good. I was going to say.
So, yeah, we'll wait on predictions. I don't want to do it before preseason. Obviously, I want to make some kind of boldish takes in training camp, before training camp, I should say, about what we think the roster's going to be. Obviously, we're going to follow it along as it goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, so next time we record on Tuesday, we'll have a Bills game to talk about.
And a Sabres
back to Sabres hockey. So
yeah, back to real. I mean, not real because it's preseason, but on ice representation to speak of. Exciting stuff. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap up here for the until betting on the Bills this coming Friday?
No, I think we got our little Sabres fix.
We did.
We got our
scratch the itch for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I don't know how itchy it really was, but
no.
But on to the next week with the Sabres, and hopefully when we do this pod in a week, the Bills are 3-0.
Yeah, and just a programming note, if you will, for betting on the Bills, we might throw a little, fantasy bug in there, and Evan Harrington may be joining us throughout the season, as you've heard a couple weeks now, a couple times. Give his thoughts on the Bills. Pretty insightful guy. So we'll get his thoughts, maybe so you can hear a different take than the two right here. But that's going to do it for this edition of the Buffalonian podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I was joined by none other than Dom Loss. Thank you to our producer, Mooch, Michael Loss, behind the scenes for everything you do. How do you always end these, Dom?
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills.